Big Horizon reveals are incoming at a PlayStation showcase. We know about the big plans Xbox has for the summer and 2024. Assassin's Creed Mirage gets an interesting new release, and there's way more gaming news to go over. So thanks for joining, and let's go. But let's start with the reveal of a brand new Batman game. Now don't get too excited because it's a VR title called Batman Arkham Shadow. So the question now is it set in the Arkham universe? Like, we of course already had Batman Arkham VR, which was a nightmare kind of thing between Arkham City and Arkham Knight. It was really awesome, kind of short, but I kind of love the experience. Now that was of course made by Rocksteady, but they are not involved this time as this game is in development by the studio who recently did Iron Man VR. Now pretty cool news is that Roger Craig Smith, who of course did the voice of Batman in Arkham Origins, seems to be returning as Bruce Wayne in this game. Like, he posted the announcement of the title on his social media, so I think that seals the deal. We only have this teaser so far, but the full reveal will take place on June 7th during Summer Game Fest. It will release in late 2024 and be a MetaQuest 3 exclusive. No PSVR 2 sadly, as it's also being made by Oculus in-house. Like, Sony really doesn't care about the $600 hardware they released last year. I think I know the answer, but let me know if you care in the comments. It does feel like another tease. We just want a regular single-player console quality Batman game, please. Now fingers crossed that Warner Montreal after Gotham Knights or Rocksteady after dropping Suicide Squad, which will likely happen in the coming months, will finally give us what we want. And I mentioned Summer Game Fest on June 7th. Well, that will be the kickoff of this E3 style week, as we have Ubisoft on June 10th with Assassin's Creed Red, Star Wars Outlaws, and hopefully Splinter Cell. Like, a reminder, the team behind the remake of the first game did change their banner recently, so might be teasing something. And this week, Xbox confirmed their showcase for June 9th, 10 AM Pacific time, with straight after that a direct for a redacted title, and it has since been leaked that that is for the new Call of Duty. And this is a new Black Ops game set in the early 1990s during the Gulf War. Seems like they will call it Black Ops 6 though, and the reveal will take place in Warzone this month. And the pre-order bonus seems to be a Frank Wood operator for both Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone. The last Black Ops was in 2020, like this game should have been in development for a really long time for a Call of Duty game, 4 years, and this will probably be the first title that will launch day one on Game Pass, which will of course be huge. But yeah, more interesting for me and likely for you as well are the games that Xbox will reveal during their actual Xbox game showcase before the Call of Duty Direct. The next Gears will likely show up according to many reports, and I think this will blow us away in the graphics department as a true Unreal Engine 5 showcase. There are now also rumors that we'll get a new trailer for South of Midnight with hopefully some gameplay. The first trailer totally set the tone, let's see how it actually plays. Combine this with maybe a new look at Fable, hopefully Perfect Dark. A new Doom game might get revealed. I think Xbox will have a pretty big show. I will of course keep you posted here if we hear more games that are confirmed or leaked in the coming weeks. And then I did not even mention the games that should be out this year. Like The Verge dropped the full lineup and target months for Xbox in 2024. So Call of Duty should drop at the end of October, then Avowed, the Obsidian RPG, and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in November, and Indiana Jones in December. So that's a pretty solid Game Pass lineup, and The Verge also notes that in September we get the, according to Bethesda, massive Starfield Shattered Space expansion. But on May 15th, we have a brand new update for the game already that finally adds maps with icons showing where everything is. This should have been a feature at launch of course, but better late than never, I guess. And also when just walking around, you can pull up the map, see the icons to see where things are. You can give vendors more credits, so you don't have to go to multiple vendors to sell all your items. You can increase the amount you and your crew can carry, thank God. There are separate difficulty options for regular combat and space combat, with also a new extreme difficulty. You can now change the inside of your ship with furniture and decorations. And maybe the most important one, on Xbox Series X, they're adding a 60 FPS mode. Finally. And in the future, probably a year from now, I don't know, we're getting land vehicles. Yes, really. It's on one hand kind of wild that it took them 8 months for a big update like this, but it's all in time for the DLC when most people will jump back in. Let me know if you will return to Starfield, of course, in the comments. I totally will, kinda depends on what else is happening in that September month. Or maybe you're waiting for the PS5 version, because I totally think it will launch maybe by the end of the year for Sony's console. There are at least many signs, many stars pointing in that direction. Now let's look at PlayStation, because they got a big show coming as well, likely before Xbox, and we got way more other gaming news to go over. Of course, if you like these videos, leave a like, that would really help me out, so thanks for that. And subscribe, because I post one of these gaming news roundup videos every Sunday. Yes, interesting news, because Horizon Zero Dawn is out of nowhere being removed from PlayStation Plus Extra on May 21st. And that is strange, because it's a Sony-owned game. They don't have to pay any third party to keep the game on their subscription. But we likely know the reason for this. Remember the leak about the Horizon Zero Dawn PS5 remake or remaster that is happening? Well, high chance it will be revealed soon, and then to make that more appealing, they are making it harder to go back to the older PS4 version, which by the way already 60 FPS when you play it on PS5. Now I totally get it when people say, why do we need a remaster of this 2017 game that still looks great? Now the reason is of course the Netflix show that will bring in a lot of new people, similar to The Last of Us did, and then to have a beefed up PS5 version is of course more appealing for them. Like, I want to reserve my judgment. It really depends on what this new version of Zero Dawn will be. If they improve the very outdated conversations between NPCs to be more like Forbidden West, and maybe add other quality of life features, then I could see this being a great thing. And it's worth noting that if you compare the Zero Dawn graphics to what we saw in Forbidden West, there's a clear difference. So it will still be a big upgrade, and it could be a nice win for a $10 like upgrade path, similar to what we saw with The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Of course, we will wait and see if Sony does that again. Now there is more though. I did some research. Sony namely removed a first-party game from PS Plus before. Last year on May 16th, so around the same time, they removed Spider-Man 1, and a week later they started the marketing campaign for Spider-Man 2 during the PlayStation Showcase on Wednesday, May 24th. So people who got hyped after the Spider-Man 2 reveal and wanted to play the first one had to buy it. So yeah, high chance they're doing a similar approach for Horizon, which for one means that we will get the PlayStation Showcase at the end of May, so either Wednesday, May 22nd, or the week after that, on May 29th. So expect the Horizon Zero Dawn PS5 remaster to then be announced and likely released soon after, and it then also feels like the perfect moment to show the long in development online multiplayer project. Like, only showing the remaster I don't think would create a lot of good buzz, but putting the spotlight on the online project would make people forget about the unnecessary remaster. One final prediction: pre-order the Zero Dawn remaster and get alpha or beta access to the online project. Gorilla, you can totally use that idea. Now let me know if you're excited for this in the comments down below. I'm curious if they're sticking with the more cartoony art style for the multiplayer project that we saw in leaked art almost 4 years ago. I hope not, but I also want to reserve my judgment for the actual trailer. And yeah, I will do more predictions for the PlayStation Showcase once it's announced, so stay tuned. So yes, some very exciting weeks are incoming, but there's more. Let's do some quick shots, news stories I will go over quickly. On May 21st, X Defiant, the free Call of Duty style game from Ubisoft, will finally release in pre-season. It will feature 14 maps, 5 factions, of course all based on Ubisoft franchises, including DedSec that has to be unlocked, 5 modes and 24 weapons. Like, this is basically the content from the test 2 weeks ago. And then after 6 weeks, the first season will kick off. These will all last 3 months and include 1 new faction, 3 weapons, 3 maps, and a 90-tier battle pass. I might be jumping in for a few rounds, but I'm mostly curious if this will do well. Like, they gave this team a ton of time to get it right, but there were still issues during the recent test. Will this finally be the Ubisoft free-to-play success? The content cadence seems fine, maybe not enough. I will just be following it from the sidelines, I'm just curious. Ubisoft also announced the release date for Assassin's Creed Mirage on iPhone 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, the iPad Air and iPad Pro if you have the M1 chip or later. And yes, this is the full game but with touch controls. It also has cross progression and cross save through Ubisoft Connect, so just like on PC and console. console, and it will be free to try for 90 minutes, and after that cost $50. Like, for one, it's wild that this game works on iPhones natively, but I just don't know if this is what the people on phones are looking for. It's still a cool experiment though. Like, in the end, if these big budget games are not stuck on expensive computers or PCs, I think it's only a win for everyone. Like, more people getting access to these games is great. So I'm curious if more games will be ported to Apple devices or maybe even Android in the future. Let me know if you would be interested in this, to at least try it, of course. And we got some interesting details from new sales data in the US. For one, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a huge hit. It already sold more than both Dragon's Dogma 1 and Dark Arisen combined, while only being 15 days on the market. So that is huge. Hope they do a expansion similar to Dark Arisen as well. This next one is crazy. Helldivers 2 is already the 7th highest grossing PlayStation game in the US thanks to PC. And a reminder, this is in less than 3 months on the market. Like, if the success continues throughout the year, it might overtake the likes of God of War and Spider-Man, while the budget for Helldivers 2 was of course way less, and it also has microtransactions, so it might be the most profitable game for Sony ever. And this, by the way, mostly thanks to the PC release, because Matt, who runs the US gaming charts, says that without PC, it would not currently rank among the top 20 of the best-selling Sony games. Again, showing how important a simultaneous launch is. And then we got Final Fantasy. Like, Rebirth is totally my game of the year so far, but it currently ranks number 14 across all Final Fantasy releases in lifetime dollar sales in the US market. Like, I already kinda said it weeks ago, but the sales for this new game are not great. Because if we look at it, like, Final Fantasy 15 is the number 1 of all time, followed by the 7 Remake Part 1, so that's selling way more than Rebirth, and the original Final Fantasy 7 is on number 3. Like, Square probably expected more. They're now also making some big changes, canceling games, we don't know which ones, but they're overall being more selective about what they release in the future. Still focused mostly on a big AAA stuff. I think them trying some big new IPs would be the best idea to appeal to a new audience. Like, right now they got the quality, but I think people are just turned off by the fact that their games are the 16th in the series, or a part 2 of a remake of an old game. Let me know what you think Square should do in the comments down below. So this coming week we have the financials for Bandai Namco, Warner Bros, but I think the biggest one will be EA, because they will probably give us a full year schedule for the next 12 months. That should include Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So high chance we will hear when that title is expected, like in which quarter of the year. Now this coming week we might also see more pre-Summer Game Fest announcements, like the Batman game. Of course, June 7th is approaching, so I will of course keep you posted. I also expect leaks for things that will happen, so I will report them at the end of the week in the Sunday video, of course. So subscribe to not miss it, a like would really help me out, and check out last week's gaming news roundup video with new Assassin's Creed Hexe leaks by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.